The Texas Trio is back to discuss the education funding school choice reboot under the Capitol Dome. Greg, I think that there's a lot of logic to the realign the debate argument. Why not make Texas teachers the highest paid in the nation, take the lead in per pupil funding, and then offer an exit option? What do you think about that?
Well, Rudy, as the proud son of a career public school educator, that sounds great to me, but here's the hitch, and you hit on it. If you raise the pay of the average Texas teacher from 60 grand to say 80 grand, will it generate anywhere close to a 20% better instructional performance in the classroom? And will it really stop teachers who can make, say, 90 grand in the private sector from leaving the teaching profession? And will it diminish in any way the constant drumbeat for even better compensation in the not-so-distant future? I think those are all legitimate questions. Here's the latest numbers from the National Education Association. Texas currently ranks 28th out of the 50 states in average teacher pay and 38th in per-student spending. My point with what we hear is likely on the table. Those rankings will change significantly for the better if the two opposing sides in the legislature somehow horse trade on school choice.
Yeah, but you got to get that horse back in front of the cart, I think. That's my whole argument. You know, the new HB1 filed for special session 4 seems to be a throw everything, including the kitchen sink approach to this debate. It spreads money, a lot of money, all around. But in a Tuesday news conference, Hinojosa called it a 30-page voucher bill that is embedded in 150 pages of bribes, mostly to appease special interest groups. Stephen, their my way or the highway approach, you know, it's certainly could upend my proverbial horse and cart line that I mentioned earlier, but I think they're missing a big opportunity to negotiate big education investments. What do you think?
Yeah, politics is politics, and, you know, the devil is in the details, as some elected officials will tell you. And I've talked to some Republicans, both on the record and off the record, who didn't want to be named, that aren't rural, and have said that they also are not really very pro-voucher. Now, I talked to Justin Holland, who's on the hot seat for impeachment reasons. He's a Republican from a conservative area, and he told me that he's willing to negotiate, but he says that the amount of money needs to dramatically increase for public education, for teacher pay. He says that there needs to be a scaled-down approach when it comes to some type of voucher program, and so I think Governor Abbott and the other leaders who are very pro-vouchers might need to just say, let's try to get a piece of it and try to go back to the table later, instead of keep trying to get all of it all at once and continue to fail.
Here's the fly in the ointment. Recent polls do show that the idea of school choice has support across the state. It's not the #1 education issue, but it has support. All the legislation filed in the previous sessions were really new line items in the budget, essentially limited grant programs. Some of the plans even appear to offer more money than per student than what public schools get in the basic allotment. So the pitch from the House and Senate choice supporters still seems way off, and certainly not financially conservative. With that said, Greg, have you heard any explanation as to why the Rhino Slam hasn't stuck on this one?
Interesting choice of words there, Rudy. My guess is this. High-profile slam dunk victories have been few and far between for Texas Democrats in Austin. This is one issue where Team Blue can land a painful and very public counterpunch to Abbott and Patrick, but it's totally dependent on their unholy alliance with rural House Republicans, who so far have listened to their ISD superintendents. That said, everyone has their price, and if the GOP holdouts get the kind of deal their folks back home can live with, it will be over as quick as Dade Phelan can wrangle up a quorum. Now, if the standoff holds and choice dies, Republicans can point at Democrats and say, well, go ask them why teachers and schools aren't getting billions of additional dollars. As for the rural members who stood with the Dems, well, they better pack a lunch and expect to be primaried. And if they manage to make it back to the legislature, both Patrick and Abbott will remember this vote and respond accordingly.
You got me at unholy alliance. More than 20 states have some type of school choice. There's a big universal plan in Arizona to the selected urban centers approach in Tennessee. Some reports show recent choice wins in other states have come not because of the argument choice can provide an escape from failing schools, but an escape from the claims of indoctrination by liberal teachers and school boards. Stephen, I think that's how rural lawmakers get flipped in Special 4.
Hey, I mean, it remains to be seen. Everything's on the table. This is politics. People can have their arms twisted, but I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, that's a wrap for this issue. For now, you can see this interview or any of our other past interviews by going to our YouTube pages.
And visit our social media sites to continue the conversation.
We will keep monitoring this debate on education in Austin. But until then, we'll see you next time. And don't forget to let us know what you think the issue is.